Hey, we're back. This is Kotlin Conversations, where we're having conversations with just some of the amazing people and speakers here at Kotlin Conf 2025. I am very lucky to be speaking with
Dima. You can
Dima.
call me Dima.
Dima. Dima, tell us a little bit about who you are. What do you do for work?
I'm a software engineer. I started my career as a backend developer with PHP. Then I slowly shifted to Go. And around 5 years ago, I'm originally from Ukraine. I moved to Germany and I started being a Kotlin developer there out of the blue. Yeah, currently I'm doing both front-end and backend. And unfortunately, front-end is not yet Kotlin, but I think we'll
But
get
you got
there.
the back end, so yeah.
And yeah,
Oh no, go ahead.
I work at Trivago. This is like hotel search company, data-driven company. Yeah, that's it.
So, I mean, what was your journey to Kotlin Life? Because it seems like you've worked in a lot of different like languages and stacks. Like, what was your journey to Kotlin like?
So let's say I didn't know much about Kotlin before because also I'm not a Java developer and there wasn't this obvious shift. But when I started doing it for the position I was hired, I fell in love with it. And now I think like this is the best human readable language unless you know how everything works to make it human readable. Yeah.
So no, I mean, I'm an Android developer, so I have a Java, C++ background. So I think it's easy for me to have that, journey into loving Kotlin. But I love to hear that someone who came from quite a bit background also has come here, has come to the conclusion that yeah, Kotlin's awesome. It kind of just shows like yeah how truly awesome it is. And you're actually speaking this year. Can you talk to us a little bit about it's a side project, yeah, or your own project, the Kotlin-based?
Yes, this is a side project, and it started like the idea because I have a friend of mine who is in Ukraine, and we are geeks. We like playing board games, and we couldn't find a fit for us, like online version of a good board game that we would like to play. And being nerds, we decided to develop one.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was the idea behind the project. We started working on it, and then why not to present it on Kotlin Conf?
I love it. And I think that's such an engineering thing is that if you're missing something or think that something could be different or better, just to do it yourself and like build it yourself. I love it. And I think what's super fascinating is that, and there's not a shock. And I think we've already talked about it a few times today is that, 2025 is a year of AI for sure.
Yeah.
And, it's difficult because I think we're in a very uncharted territory with AI as a technology and also the effect it has on our industry. But of course, like for example, we had plenty of AI centric announcements this morning. And I guess not to spoil your talk too much because people should definitely go and see Dima's talk. You are incorporating AI into your work with your side project, yeah?
Yeah. So let's put it this way. I think LLM is overused sometimes. I really love using LLMs, but it's not a silver bullet for everything. And my talk was more like to show how else you can get to the same result, maybe without using LLMs. And maybe there are other tools which can help you to build AI. And it's not only about large language models.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think people forget that because I mean, like, there's been tons of different AIs over the years. We used to call it we get other names like machine learning and other things like that. And it's just unfortunate, maybe for the field of AI in general, that AI has become so closely associated with LLMs. But there's so many things more. So that's why I thought that the title of your talk, LLM-less AI, was so fascinating because it probably is a good time to get people excited about these tools. Just as you were saying, there's other things. So
Yeah, and so that was the idea, right? So the hype is there, but I wanted to show like how you can benefit from the hype by using something else. Yeah, definitely LLM is a tool
Yeah.
for the job. Sometimes like it can help a lot, but yeah, you need to be more cautious. And like if you can do something which is smaller and like faster to run, I'd say why not?
Could you give a few examples of how you're using AI in your project that are not LLM?
Yeah, sure. In my talk, I was also talking mostly about defining the targets for the game. So the game is with hidden roles, and you don't know who's who, like who's your teammate, who's not. The goal of the game is to be the last team standing.
Yeah.
And how do you define who you attack, for example? And for this, we trained our own model, which would, based on the actions of the players, give some understanding for the bot who to attack. And that's why, yeah, we incorporated the bot in the game. So if you want to play without friends or like to add more players to the game of yours, then yeah, you can use those bots.
It's funny how we kind of forget that because it's so funny because not to talk about LMs again, but a lot of the focus has been on like bots and stuff and that conversation, but that feels like such a wonderful application because that's such a thing with like games and stuff, right? Where a lot of times like they tend to be very like group experiences, but of course you're not always in a group. We just went through like the pandemic, of course, which, sometimes you're not even in the same room. So I love that idea. It's like, it feels like a very old school idea, having a bot, but it feels like maybe in 2025, it's a lot better than it used to be, like, with bots that we might find in games or other video games rather, or something like else. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. And if you, me personally, the first thing like was in my head, let's use LLM to
Yeah.
train the bot.
Yeah.
And without first questioning if it's a good approach, actually,
Yeah.
it is the best idea. And then we started exploring more and more and thinking about it. Yeah, and you can show that there are different applications, for other machine learning models.
I think that's so important, though, and that, as you mentioned, that there's a good solution. Like every problem has a maybe more optimal solution than not. Do you have any tips on, like, that exploration? Can you, like, any learnings that you could share about? Well, how do you, I guess, start approaching? I don't know, evaluating something, especially AI specifically. How do you evaluate it to determine whether it's right for you or not, or right for your side project or not?
I mean, if it's around language, I would say large language models would do the work.
The fair.
If it is, some predictions, I think you should sit down, look at your data, explore it, and to see what are the parameters, what are the features that you can base your predictions on. And after you do this, you can see what will fit your needs, what's not, how structured the data is, how structured can you make the data. If you're succeeding with this one, then you can start exploring different options. And as I said, if it's a chatbot, for example, obvious solution wouldn't be like to create your own LLM, right? And to use something and
Yeah.
like to train it even more. But for simpler solutions, maybe that's not the tool for the job.
Yeah. I think sometimes we forget that there are, like, other simpler tools as well, just because I think a lot of, like, just the new shiny thing, you want to try to apply it to everything, but it's like the whole old school saying of, like, not every problem is a nail that needs a hammer. Like, there are a lot of other tools out there. Like, so can you tell us a little bit more about your project? Like, I guess where you at? Like, and I guess since we're at Kotlin Conf, is there something specific about Kotlin that you find kind of joyful? Like, is there any, like, kind of good synthesis between, or synergy between, like, Kotlin and, like, AI work? Or
Yes. So to be honest, the first time I heard about Kotlin notebooks was 2 years ago on the Kotlin conference when I think they were announced.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, let's try it out. And what I started doing, I knew that we have data scientists in company who are using Jupyter notebooks, and I was okay, let's go and force them using them. And but like everyone was like, why should I use this?
Yeah.
And that was the question which I started asking myself. Is like, actually, why should people start using it? And then getting deeper and deeper, understanding the application, and then this interoperability. Like, let's say you have the data science, you can do it like with Kotlin, then you can implement similar thing, like copy pasting, not all the time, but with minor changes to the actual application, which we have like in Java and Kotlin. And why not try to use that? And that was the inspiration behind it. And answering the question about the project itself, so we just developed the game, but we were like reluctant, should we start doing the bot or not? And that's a secret. So I applied to Kotlin Conf with this topic, and I got accepted. And then I said, my friend, now we don't have any other options. We just have to create.
That's okay. It's a good forcing function to get.
That's true.
It's a good excuse. I like it very much. Is there anything, like, surprising, like, in your journey, kind of exploring AI? Is there anything that's surprising to you, or that you didn't expect, maybe in a good way, like a pleasant surprise that you had?
Pleasant surprise. I would say the surprising is the waiting time.
Oh,
So
really?
when you are training the model,
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to wait for it to be trained, right? And then you're just like, okay, what do I do? Nothing. I just wait for it to process all the data. And another surprising thing, I cannot test it. So I'm a software engineer, and I like to have tests and test the code which I wrote and know like that the outputs will be compared.
Yeah.
But with models, it's not that easy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Does it actually predicts what you want? How would you test if it predicts what you want?
Yeah.
So this uncertainty, I would say, surprised me, but it also makes it a bit more challenging.
Yeah.
So like, okay, how would you react to these changes, to these features, to this idea? Yeah, so I would say like it's good and bad together.
That's so fascinating, because I feel like, we're so used to having much rigor and testing, and like that you should do that. I know not everyone does for various reasons, but the predictability, like, Not that everything we do is deterministic, because it certainly isn't. I've
Yeah.
had plenty of flaky tests, but yeah, it feels a lot of times that engineering has been so straightforward, right? Like it feels like even a bug, there's like you can almost pinpoint, like you kind of backtrack and say, okay, well, it's happened because of A, B, and C. Whereas now, as you're saying, there's a little more of this like indeterministic, little bit of an amorphous kind of thing that's happening. And so what do we do with all these processes, this rigor that we've kind of grown accustomed to? Is there a way that we can somehow, I don't know, put a fence around it? Or like, is it that we just have to think differently, or do we have to adapt the way that we tool and test to this new style, you think?
I think adapting is the way. That's the mindset which has to change also and maybe has to be embraced. I'm also not a data scientist, so that's a disclaimer. And I think data scientists know more about this, and I like kind of jumped on the train on the last train,
Yeah.
and I'm starting doing it. Yeah, and that's you have to accept it. Just accepting, yeah, that some things might not be as easy to test as you want, and it might require testing it and losing users or revenue. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Testing in production, the thing which I don't like as a software developer.
I think more of us test in production than we like to admit, whether we mean to, whether it was intentional or unintentional. But I love that. It's so fascinating. And thank you for also it's so hard because I think there's a lot of negative as well as positive and optimistic feelings about AI. So thank you for giving us or presenting at Kotlin just different perspectives on it, so that the world is actually quite huge with AI and so many possibilities. So we should definitely be exploring all of them. If people wanted to find you on the internet, Dima, how can they do that?
I mean, I am on Twitter, X, sorry. I'm on X, I'm on Blue Sky, I'm on LinkedIn, so you can find me by my name. It will be pretty easy.
And what's the name of your game project again?
Deltaration.
Deltaration? Okay.
Yeah, it has some background behind it, but I will not share it now.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind, maybe like people can take a look. But yeah, and if you are interested in AI, definitely check out Dima's talk. I think it's like so important. Like, I think this whole community has been so great about like exploring, learning, and sharing. So yeah, definitely check it out, especially in this new world of AI. Thank you so much, Dima.
Thank you.
All right.
You
Thank
for
you all.
having me.
Oh, it was such a pleasure. And thank you all.